All right, Irish.
Hi, this is Scout.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, fine. Hi, this is William.
Nope.
What?
Nope.
What?
Okay, Irish.
Hi, this is
I'm
Scout.
doing the intro to the intro.
Oh.
Ready? Mm-hmm. All right, Irish. Is this going to be a bounce back episode?
Hi, this is Scout.
Mm-hmm. What about my bounce back episode thing?
Last episode was fine. I don't know what you're
It
talking
was
about.
fine-ish, but this is going to be finer than fine-ish.
Hi, this is Scout.
Uh-huh. And William.
From Hypermentilating.
The podcast.
A show that follows life and change through the father of the eyes and daughter. Join us as we find
wow.
Uh-oh.
Okay, that all went Alice in Wonderland, didn't it?
Join us as we find our way together.
Together.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We are finding our way. We are finding our way to piecing together words into sentences. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Is that how it's going to be?
Yeah.
Over there with your shifty face and your shifty faces piled on top of your original shifty face? All right.
Travel days.
I'm going to need some enthusiasm.
Travel days. Can you be prepared? I don't know what that means. I mean, travel delays. Can you be prepared?
Seriously.
Oops.
Are you packed full of NyQuil or something right now?
I don't know. Maybe.
Well,
Travel
I hope
days. Travel delays. Can you be prepared? I don't know what that means.
Well, it's just a note. Travel delays.
What about them?
Can you be prepared? What kind of preparation? Would say yes. To a certain extent, you can be prepared
yes.
for travel delays. Like I
Food,
myself am
water.
a big fan of food, yes. So
Food,
you know I pack
water.
us with sandwiches.
I like to put not even a change of clothes, but a hoodie or something comfortable in my carry-on
Definitely.
bag. So that if, we have to sleep in the airport or
Weather changes.
I can have an extra something to bundle myself up with, or I have layers.
You can be.
Or if I'm.
You can be. Hear me out now. Prepared.
Yeah, or if we're leaving from a cold place, and we're going to a warm place, I make sure that I have a T-shirt in my bag or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I only recently had my first delay, but it's always good to be
I was
prepared.
more thinking about that, right? The actual delay factor. Like, we're pretty good at preparing for the journey, so we know, okay, it's going to be 7 hours from start to finish, or 10 or 5, and so you kind of figure out what you need as far as food. We never go anywhere without food. We're those kind of people, and we always make sure we have things to entertain us. But when you hit a delay, like we did there, like, can you be prepared for that? I think that other than the food, there's not much you can really do, right?
Maybe the only other thing I can say is if it might be a overnight thing, make sure that you have a blanket or something that you can turn into a pillow.
Yeah.
In case you have to.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's just hard to.
Or even bring a hoodie so you can use that.
Like, for us, that was a 24 hours stuck in an airport.
Yeah.
So it's hard to prepare for that. I guess once you've done it, though, like I've done it a few times and now you've done it once, so you prepare in the sense that you know that what you have to do. Like, try and find somewhere to sleep. Make sure you have food. If you don't have food, you got to stock up. Mm-hmm. If you're budgeting, you got to try and figure out a way to feed yourself without being the outrageous gouging prices at the airport.
Yeah.
Can you get out of the airport? Do you have time to get out and Uber or taxi somewhere and find something and then get back? In our case, it was an overnighter. We were stuck in the airport literally from 11:30, so we had that weirdness to deal with. It's too late to really go anywhere. But I think you can be prepared in the sense that, like you say, you have some clothing, some food, some water. But there's only so prepared you can be, right?
Yeah, exactly. You can't predict what delay you're going to have.
Oh, the trying to sleep's the worst. Like, we were trying to find somewhere to crash.
Yeah. Although, as a side note, we did end up finding a pretty cool place to spend, not the night, the morning and the day.
Yeah, no, I think that's a huge part of the discussion. That was really oddly something.
If you guys know what
Japanese pods, right?
Japanese pod hotels are, there. If you guys don't know what they are, look them up. But they're basically cubicles that you can sleep in, and they look kind of like a spaceship.
Yeah,
At least
like
the one we stayed in.
yeah.
It had blue lights, and it was very spaceshipy.
Yeah, like what you'd imagine you'd sleep on if you were on a spaceship, a little sort of box that's yours.
Yeah, so we did end up finding a pretty cool place to sleep.
They were all right. That was, I mean, it wasn't
Everyone
cheap,
gets
but
their
it was
own.
interesting.
Everybody gets their
everybody
own.
has their own. I liked how they were separated. The kids and the women were separated into a separate area from the guys. That seemed quite reasonable.
For sure.
Showers were clean. Like, all in all, it was a pretty good way that we got to spend 12 hours.
It was, for sure. I'd say.
I didn't really sleep, though. Did you find it?
No.
It was more of a...
I drifted in and out of sleep, but
that's
I
how
didn't
I found
actually
it
have
too.
a full-on sleep.
It was like a fugue
It was like a
state,
bunch of
like
different cat naps.
Yeah, exactly. Like just some kind of a weird...
But to be fair, I don't think that had
otherworldly
anything
sleep.
to do with the actual room itself. That was because it was the daytime, so our time was all thrown off.
Yeah, you don't really expect to sleep.
No, and we were stressed and we just wanted to be here, so.
But we had to do something because, I mean, we'd already tried from 12 till 6 at night sleeping on the chairs, and their chairs in airports are always set up so that you can't sleep on them. Like to discourage people from stretching out on them. You didn't do too bad. You're small enough that you could kind of curl up. But
yeah, I was able to sleep on them.
But I think delays are part of it, so you definitely can be prepared to a certain extent. Like if you're taking a train, the train could be delayed, and you might have to. So you have to know, okay, where am I? Am I going to be isolated in the middle of nowhere? In which case, I have to make sure I stay warm. I have food. Is the train station near a downtown area? So if I get delayed, it's no problem to walk outside, grab a cab, take a walk, find somewhere to sleep or eat. So I think you can be prepared in as far as knowing where you're going and knowing what's in the area around it. For something like what we had, an unexpected, no, you're not getting on the plane. Sorry about that. I don't know how you prepare for that, other than you just have to suck it up, right?
Yeah.
You just have to do whatever you have to do. But I think definitely you can prepare for travel delays. It's a lot of it's just experience, I suppose.
Yeah.
But then a lot of it's common sense.
It wasn't too bad. It wasn't as bad as I thought delays would be. Like at night it wasn't bad because it was nighttime. It was peaceful, overall pretty quiet.
Yeah.
But then during the day, because my time was all thrown off, because I've pulled all-nighters, but never like that.
When have you pulled an all-nighter?
I've had sleepovers.
But all-nighters? Like literally we were up all night.
Yeah.
You've stayed up all night?
Yes. And it was then during the day because we were actually trying to sleep.
Yeah.
At sleepovers, you don't try and sleep during the day. You hang out more.
No.
So it was weird. It was a weird experience.
And then we had the double whammy because it was an overnight flight that we couldn't get on, and then we had to wait until the exact flight the next night. So we had back-to-back all-nighters on top of that. All in all, not the best experience as far as...
My time is still thrown off.
Yeah,
Like,
me
I'm
too,
still-
for sure. Well, we lost 2 nights' sleep, spent the day in between in the airport. Gave me a cold, or it did not allow me to fight the cold that I was fighting. It's given pause one. For sure, it's a big deal, man.
Yeah.
But I think you can be prepared to a certain extent.
I think so, too.
All right, then.
Okay. Now, on to our second topic of the day.
Indeed.
We have, is moving more of a drain physically or emotionally? Equal.
Equal to you?
Yeah. Because I know that when we were moving, it was heavy on both. Because of decisions, emotional. But then you have to...
What? Oh my God, really? That made you laugh? I turned aside to have a big yawn. Wow.
A big yawn. You just went like this.
That's exactly the face you make when you're yawning.
No, it's not.
What do you think I was doing?
Anyways.
Oh my.
And then physical because, you know what? There isn't much physical.
For you?
I guess packing and putting things in storage and stuff is physical.
Oh man.
But
I had to move stuff and...
Then personally, emotionally, it's harder. And I guess physical because while coming here on the airplane, we
had the aforementioned 36 hours of travel experience.
Yeah. So I guess both, but I'd say more emotional.
More emotional.
Mm-hmm.
I think it varies for me. I've moved a bunch of times. Yeah, sometimes it's one, sometimes the other, but in this case, definitely more physical, just because of the stress level. It was.
Yeah, but then stress is emotional.
No, but it's physical too. Like, I mean, it's physically stressful to move all of that stuff. Like, literally move it. We were divesting ourselves of a house we'd lived in for 8 years, right? So we put some stuff in a storage. We took a few trips to a storage and packed that full.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of physical moving there, and then there's the physically moving of all of the furniture and selling of stuff and giving of stuff away. Like there was a lot of physicality involved in this move.
Yeah,
I think for
sure.
me it was emotional because you guys grew up in that house, right? Like that's a big touchstone house for us as far as memories and things. So that was emotional leaving that. But then for me, there's a huge element of like, I love change and moving. So it sort of balances out that emotionality.
Right.
I think both.
Both.
But I think it definitely would depend on the move. Some moves would be more emotional. Maybe you've gone somewhere and you've lived quite simply for a while.
Right.
And I've done that where I didn't really want to leave, but all I had was a bag and a guitar kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's really emotional, right? Because it's like you don't want to leave and your circumstances mean that you have to. When I left the Cayman Islands, it was like that. I loved it there, man.
Yeah.
It was super emotional. Physically, it wasn't hard to move, but it was super emotional because I loved living there. And then other times, I shut down a house one time by myself. That was really physical. Like.
Yeah. For me, in this experience, personally, my only experience, emotional. But I was also physical. I mean.
No, you helped.
Traveling and
you helped. You helped
packing
move.
my room.
You went to the storage with me one time.
Yeah,
you
twice.
A couple of times you were going up and down stairs with stuff.
Yeah.
No, you did. You guys did some things for sure. You were a huge help.
But I emotional, I'd say.
Yeah. I mean, I would guess most times it's going to end up being emotional, really, the more I think about it. The physical part sort of comes and goes. I wonder what's like that. What other things are like that are both physically and emotionally draining? Because often things are one or the other, aren't they?
Yeah.
I guess things that happen in life generally. I guess generally they're more emotionally draining than physically draining. There's not that many things that are physically draining, really, that we do. Actually, I'm trying to think, is there anything else that's physically draining that you do outside of not athletics or competition, but just in life besides moving? Most things take more of an emotional toll than a physical toll, don't they?
I mean, I've only had 13 years of experience, 14, so I don't really know.
What else takes a physical toll? I can't really think of anything else.
Me neither.
Well, that puts moving right into the front of the line, doesn't it?
Yeah. Dad?
Yeah.
Can we do our what if? I'm really excited for the what if.
Well, are we just clipping this puppy? We don't have anything to say in here, do we?
Well, I already said it took a much more of an emotional toll on me than it did a physical toll.
Why do you think that is? Okay, come on now.
Because I had to leave my childhood home, and because we moved to a different country. Yeah, and I had to make decisions and stuff like that.
But this move is just temporary, right?
No, I know. But still, leaving your house is very hard.
Yeah, big move. Big move. Leaving the house where you grew up in, or one of the places you grew up in. Yeah, it's a huge move.
Well, I think that moving is more emotional, but I can also see why someone would think it's physical. Just because you have to pack, and there's also, say you're moving to somewhere far away, you have to drive there, you have to fly there, and flying, while it's also emotional, can also be very physical, because not sleeping or, moving your bag around can be physical. But not sleeping can also have a toll emotionally, which is everything that is physical in moving and other things, it takes a toll on you emotionally as well.
Yeah.
Whereas if something is emotional, it doesn't always take a toll on you physically.
Well, something emotional takes a toll on you physically, doesn't it?
Yeah, but not always. Whereas almost always, something physical will take a toll on you emotionally.
Don't you think they go together? Like if
they do, but that's what I'm saying. I think that physical goes together more with emotional than emotional does with physical.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, because everything, I guess, because of the physical nature of being human, I guess everything has a bit of element of both things. So whether it's moving or anything else, yeah, that's true.
But
so
I just think that
but I definitely think that your emotional state definitely affects your physical state and vice versa. I think your emotional state has a huge effect on your physical state. Like if
it does, but not always. Whereas I think that always if you're doing something physical, it has an effect on you emotionally. Because if you're hurt physically, maybe you don't want to get out of bed. And not getting out of bed has a toll on you emotionally. But if you're emotionally harmed, it can lead to headaches, it can lead to a bunch of different things, but it doesn't always lead to that kind of stuff. Whereas almost always, when you're hurt physically, it hurts.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Emotionally.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. That actually is a really good point. That, yeah, if you're disturbed physically, you're definitely going to be disturbed emotionally.
Yeah.
But if you're disturbed emotionally, there can be times when it doesn't really disturb you physically. Yeah, I would agree with that, actually. I never really thought of it like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's probably true. That's probably true. They definitely go hand in hand.
They do. I just think that physicality is more friends with emotional than emotional is with physicality.
Yeah. The only thing I would say, and I don't disagree with you, I didn't really think of it like that, is that long term, your physical well-being is tied long term to your emotional well-being, I think, very strongly.
Yeah.
Like if you're not in a good place emotionally, you're eventually going to deteriorate physically.
Yeah.
And if you're not in a good place physically, there are instances where not being in a good place physically is something that somebody adapts to and can still be in a decent place emotionally, right? Like if you have a long-term disability, for example, that you just become accustomed to, you work around. I think you can work around physical disturbance better than you can work around emotional disturbance, which it's not disagreeing with what you're saying. You made me think that. I think physical disturbance is something you can overcome more easily than you can emotional disturbance.
Yeah, I guess it could.
What do you think of that, though? Do you think that which one do you think is more difficult to overcome? I think physical disturbance is easier to overcome than emotional.
Yeah, so do I.
Okay.
So do I.
All right, because that's
some
actually,
people have depression for their whole lives.
Yes, which is way more difficult.
With.
Yeah, because say you have like a physical pain. I mean, maybe you can get it addressed, or maybe you just learn to live with it.
Yeah, but it's hard to learn to live with depression.
Something that's
sadness.
That debilitating for sure.
Whereas if you're born with a physical, something physical that might be wrong, you can learn to live with it because you've always had it, and you can learn to
work around it,
and you can learn to accept it. But with something emotional,
Yeah.
it's not as easy to overcome.
Yeah,
Because
that's
it
what
can
I think.
last. The influence can last longer, and it.
And be incredibly debilitating,
Yeah.
permanently debilitating.
I can see where someone would disagree with that though too. But I think it's hard to disagree with it.
Yeah, I
'cause
would. I don't know that that'd be a tough one to disagree.
I think
with.
someone who hasn't experienced sadness could disagree with it. Like someone who hasn't experienced really bad sadness could disagree with it, but
Everybody's experienced extremes of something, of anger, of sadness,
Yeah.
of enough to know that when you're disturbed emotionally, it's powerful. And if it was long term, your disturbance was long term, that would be that's to me way more complicated and difficult to deal with and overcome than a physical problem.
well, yeah, me too.
All right. Okay. Well, that's interesting. That went in a good, interesting tangent. Mm-hmm. All right then.
Yeah. Now we're gonna move on to our segments of the day, and we have a review.
All right.
And did you see this movie?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's Beetlejuice 2. I remember this movie. I saw it in the theater. Comparing it to freaking the first one,
Yeah.
it's the worst movie ever. But in general, as a movie, as the cast, as the acting, as the storyline, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. But, I mean, could it have... Because they have just left it and not put out a second one? Yes.
100%.
They could have... I think that with the same cast, they could have made a even better movie. You know, the same cast, like that. They're all weird in a great way.
Yeah.
But they're all weird. I think that they could have made a really good movie off of it. Off of that cast.
Yeah.
Because I think it was kind of wasted.
Oh,
Because everyone was
yeah.
looking forward specifically to watching the cast act together. Mm-hmm. And I think from just scrolling on TikTok and stuff, seeing videos about it, they were most upset about the wasted cast. Because I think that in general, would I watch the movie again? Yeah. Yeah, I would. Not right now, because I just saw it, but I would watch it again. It was funny enough. They had an okay story. I just think that it could have been better. Or it could have just been left alone.
Yeah, you see it more generously than I do. I was entirely disappointed. It was exactly what I feared, a completely unnecessary remake of something awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
That, to me,
the
anyhow,
first movie
just an
was
opinion.
so good that it
The first
didn't
one,
need a
and
second
different,
one.
right? It was unique and funny and goofy, and the cast was perfect.
Well,
and,
it's just that Winona Ryder and Jenna Ortega, they're perfect together, mother and daughter.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
look alike. They're they're literally mother and daughter.
I just even that
Well, not
like,
literally, but they could be.
Jenna Ortega's character, it's just a forced, like in the first one, Winona Ryder plays the kid, and it's awesome because it's just perfect the way her story evolves, right? In this one, it's kind of like, okay, she's older, so we got to give her a daughter. Well, now we got to give the daughter a story, and then it's like the story's kind of goofy.
I didn't love the
Doesn't
whole
make any
musical
sense.
part.
Yeah,
There was a lot of music in this.
But there was in the first one a bit too, remember?
Yeah,
Daylight come.
Yeah, but it was different, you know?
Oh, way
In the
different.
first movie, in like the afterlife area, it was just weirder and edgier, and in this one, it was almost like they were trying to tone it down a bit.
I just found like that the whole thing was repeated. I just thought that it was
but
it
the
was
first
just a
one
repeat.
is so like it's so fake looking, but to the point where it could be real, and it's just like the prosthetics are good, and it's just I don't know. It's almost like in the new one they were trying to tone it all down a bit. Which why would you try and tone like the movie down? It's such a good movie.
It's not that it was terrible. It's just that it completely was unnecessary. I don't think it was memorable. I thought the story was a bit hackneyed, and I mean the acting's good and they're fun, and it was one of those movies. It's like, why did you do that?
Yeah.
When I first heard they were doing it, I was like, oh, this is gonna be amazing. It's the same cast, and they'll come up with some cool story. And then they did exactly the one thing that I was like, oh, are they just going to do basically
Yeah.
a remake? That's what they did.
And also, okay, Cage Scale. First movie, Cage Scale.
Oh, 8, 9.
8.5, I'd
Awesome.
say.
Awesome.
New one, 2, 3, maybe 4 generously.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if all you care about is the special effects and the visual weirdness, it's probably like a 6. Because it had all of the same kind of special effects and visual weirdness of the first
Yeah.
one. But if you actually care about something being different and taking a new approach, then, man,
Yeah.
it was like a 2 or a 3.
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't hate it, but it didn't need to be done, and I certainly wouldn't recommend anybody who loves the first one. I would tell you to not even bother. But
Yeah.
then there'll be people who love the first one who love the second one too, just because it is the same, a lot of the same characters, and they're all still awesome. So
Yeah. I mean,
unnecessary redo. That's what I say.
yeah, that's what I say as well. It was unnecessary,
Yeah.
is what it was. So
Yeah. Exactly. Because the first one was awesome.
yeah, I
Highly
agree.
recommend the first one. Mm-hmm. All right, then.
Yeah.
Irish.
Now we have our what if.
All right,
and
here we go.
for the what if, we have what if
Mm-hmm.
you had a mystical pet. Okay, I put a lot of thought into this. If you've seen the Harry Potter movies, okay, you know that Ginny Weasley, or read the books, gets something called, I think it's called a pygmy puff, I believe. A
Yeah,
pygmy
I
puff?
don't know. I have seen the
And-
movies and read the books, and I don't remember.
A pygmy puff is, well, look it up. Go ahead, look it up.
I'm not looking it up.
Is basically a big ball, not big, but a good size, like this, ball of pink fur, and it has a tiny little head, just a little tiny baby head.
All right, so this is Jenny Weasley's
And-
weirdness. What's your what if here? What would you have if you had a mystical
Yeah.
pet? So what would you have?
A pygmy puff.
Oh, come on.
I'm being so serious. A pygmy
I know,
puff.
but so your what if is just copying Jenny Weasley's?
A pygmy puff.
Yeah.
They're so cute, and they're affectionate.
I feel like you're weaseling out here.
No. A pygmy puff is what I would want. I'm being so serious. A pygmy puff. They come in different colors. And I would want the pink
What
one.
does it do?
It's just a little buddy. It's cute and fluffy and soft, and it just sits with you, and you can pet it and hold it.
It's a stuffy.
No.
How is it?
Okay.
Yeah.
In the books
I'm
and
listening.
in the movie,
All right.
it's a sweet
Don't remember it at all.
pygmy puff, and it's tiny, but it just sits on your shoulder, and it's like your little friend. You can take it everywhere.
So it's a stuffy. How is
No.
it not a stuffy?
It has emotions and feelings.
So it's a stuffy that you got to clean up after.
Yeah.
Does it have any magical powers?
No. it's
Oh
just
my God,
cute.
it's a stuffy.
It's like a hamster. Okay,
Fine,
think
if
of it
we're in
this
the
way.
Harry Potter
no,
world,
think of
I
it this
want
way.
Dumbledore's bird.
Okay. Phoenix.
Yeah.
Okay. And a pygmy puff also.
Or the whiner's owl.
He is a whiner. Or what was his name? Hedwig.
Hedwig.
Okay.
That owl was cool.
But that's
Ooh,
not a
I would
mystical
love to have
creature.
one of those owls. Huh?
That's not a mystical creature.
An owl that can do what that owl could do is not mystical.
Tie a little letter to his foot and take him places?
Oh, yeah. So a
They used
stuffy.
to do that back in the day.
A
It's
stuffy.
not cool.
A stuffy is mystical.
It's not real. Owls are real. You should have just stuck with Dumbledore's bird, because Dumbledore's bird.
Is real too.
No.
Birds aren't real now in your world? Okay, here's my what if. What if birds were real, Scout?
Phoenix.
Phoenix.
The bird. I respect the alphabet, so yes, I
Yeah,
say
all right.
every word. I mean every letter. Phoenix.
I can't believe you're arguing that Harry Potter's owl is less mystical than Ginny Weasley's Stuffy.
Ginny Weasley's Stuffy isn't a real thing. I cannot have a pygmy puff in real life. If you really wanted to, you could
can't have
ask around and you could get a pet owl.
An owl like Hedwig.
I cannot get a pygmy puff.
An owl that thinks.
Thinks?
Hedwig could do all kinds of whatever his name is. He did all kinds of things. You act like all he did was just sitting in Harry's room pooping in his bucket.
That's exactly what he did, except for when Harry wanted him to send a letter off to Sirius Black.
He did all kinds of things. He helped him out all the time. Oh, I can't believe this. So he's not mystical, but Ginny's Stuffy is.
Have you ever seen something that looks like this? No, you haven't. That makes it mystical. That makes it not real.
Okay, it's a Stuffy. So what's the what if?
Okay, you know what?
What if you could have any? What is it? What if you could have any mystical creature?
Yeah, what would it be?
All right,
Pygmy puff.
You fine. You're having Jenny's Stuffy.
Ginny.
Ginny. I'm gonna mystical creature. I want a dragon.
Okay. Very reasonable.
Just like
I thought about that too.
Me and my dragon will fly around. Remember that other episode where you're trying to ride a T-Rex? Mm. You slapped a bicycle seat on a T-Rex and figured then
a harness. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sticking with the dragon.
Okay.
That's my mystical creature.
Yeah, that's
fair enough. So my dragon and I will be out doing adventuring all over the world.
And me and my pygmy puff will be reading
Stuffy.
together.
What will you and your Stuffy be doing?
She'll sleep with me.
Watching some TV.
Yep. That's
my dragon
exactly.
will sleep with me. And you know what else? While we're sleeping, my dragon will keep me safe. What's your Stuffy gonna do?
Keep me company?
My dragon keeps me company.
I don't care.
Plus it whaps people that get too close or annoy me.
Okay.
Well, I believe that your Stuffy is not very mystical at all.
It is.
How is it mystical?
It's not real.
Does it predict the future?
Sure. You know what it probably could do? It could probably roll itself in a little ball and spin.
Oh my! You know what your stuff. You know what else it could do? It could probably get mixed in with your laundry.
Okay, that's enough of this.
All right.
I love you.
And I love you.
That's fine.
Uh huh.